Hey everyone, I'm Aubrey and this is part 3 of making an Ayla the Huntress cosplay from Skyrim. So I started out with the patterns that I drafted for the hip armor, and now I'm going to be gluing the pieces together with contact glue. Obviously I cut them out first, but I don't have the video footage of that, sorry guys. So after I glue the sort of border to the main part of the hip armor, I'm using my Dremel to create a hammered metal texture. Now that I've done all of the dremeling, which took a really long time, I am using my X-Acto knife to cut out the detail piece. I'm being very careful and detail oriented when I'm doing this. Now I'm putting that detail piece onto a thinner piece of EVA foam, and I'm using just some sewing pins to attach it to the foam so that I can use a felt tip marker and draw the outline. I definitely don't want to give the impression that this process was smooth start to finish just because the video is showing that. I definitely have some trash pieces that I cut out at first that didn't work or I wasn't happy with them. You know, cosplay is definitely some trial and error throughout the process, and you just have to roll with that. It happens every time. So now that I have the piece cut out using my X-Acto knife, I'm going to use that same felt tip marker and draw on where the design goes on the actual hip armor. Now I'm using my contact glue and my respirator mask again, and a cheap paintbrush that I am going to paint the design on with the contact glue. So same process here, you are putting the contact glue on both of the pieces that you need to attach together, and you must wait for it to get pretty much dry. It's kind of tacky, but you don't want the glue to be wet anymore. Once it is dry, the pieces have a pretty much permanent bond. So this is a great glue for making cosplay, because especially out of EVA foam, because the pieces stick really well together and will last. And now I'm going to use super glue to attach these rivets. The foam was too thick for me to use both the front and back of the rivet and attach them as they are normally intended to work on this piece. So what I did was just put some super glue in there and used only the top parts, and it worked really well. So now we're going to move on to the waist armor. The process for this is very similar to the hip armor, cutting it out of the main foam piece using my Dremel to create the details. And then now I'm cutting out the thin spiral detail for this waist piece. It is a little bit thinner than the others, so I ended up actually using like a pair of sort of embroidery scissors that I wasn't a huge fan of how they fit in my hand, and cut these out. The reason that I didn't mind is because EVA foam destroys the blades, so they are pretty much trash at this point. Now that I've cut everything out, I can go ahead and glue it just like I did on the other pieces, and basically that's it. There is a circular piece that attaches to the belt that I will make after I make the dress, and we will do some sanding and distressing of these pieces in a later video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you